Hey guys, today I just want to talk about my faith and what I believe in and what are my views on certain things. I feel like I really wanted to do this video for my channel since that is the main part of my life, so I wanted to include that in my channel somehow. And I decided to just start it off with a little video of what I believe in, what faith I have. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus. I believe He's my God. I believe He died on the cross. I believe He is the Son of God. I can share a little bit of my testimony and how I became what I am today. Okay, so I was born in a Christian family. My mom and my dad both weren't Christians before they got married. My dad was born in a Christian family, but he went away, I guess. And my mom was born just a regular family. It wasn't anything they went to an Orthodox church. Her mom did, but it wasn't anything, oh yes, for certain. But they both found God when they got married, once they had me. I grew up always being told that there's this God in heaven that you can't ever come talk to Him, He's just so big and He's this angry God. I always thought of Him like that. I always thought that the God in heaven is very scary and you can't talk to Him and stuff. In Sunday school classes we would learn about Jesus and how He died for us and all that, but we never learned that you can talk to Him. Obviously they taught us prayer and how to pray and stuff, but it wasn't you can talk to Him. It was more hey, you better sit on your knees and that's all you can do. You better say the same prayer as a bunch of people in our church say, and that was it. My church was, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people in that church were very genuine and honest. It's just, for me, I never never got to learn that you can actually talk to God. You can actually you can actually share your life with Him. You can actually ask Him about certain questions that you have. If you don't know if He's real, you can actually talk to Him. It's not oh, God in heaven, I can't even speak to you, I'm so bad. No, you can talk to Him. You can ask Him you can ask Him anything. If you're going through something, ask Him. He'll show it to you. There's so many things God talks to you through waves. You'll be like, God, what am I supposed to do today? Am I supposed to go here? And then He'll just pull crazy waves and you'll realize, oh yeah, He's telling me I should go. He talks through so many things. He talks through your sleep. Honestly, He's not gonna come out to you and be like, oh, I'm the God. He doesn't want it to be I showed you myself, so now obviously you have to believe. It's not more about faith anymore. It's more about I have to see it. But He will show you those little things, so you kind of oh yes, I know. Okay, I can it's you're walking by faith. Because obviously if He just showed up, then what there would be no choice. Our God is a God of choice. He lets you. That's why so much people in this world have different faiths. A lot of people don't even care about God. It's because He gave us a choice. That's why there's so much negativity and all that. It's because He gave us a choice. If we didn't have a choice, obviously He would show up right now and we would all be praising God, and obviously, but no, He's such a loving God that He gives us that choice. So back to my story. I was born in a Christian family, never knew that I could literally talk. I could be walking on the streets and hey God, what can I do about this? I always thought that you have to be in a church, you have to be praying, you can't really have a relationship with God. It was more about this. And I don't blame anybody. My church pastors were amazing, they were awesome. It's just, for me, it wasn't right. Anyways, I moved to America when I was 11, to USA, so I'm Ukrainian. I moved to America when I was 11, and I went to church, and it was still more of that it's very religious. You're just going to church just because everybody else goes, your whole family goes, your relatives go, you better go because everybody in your family goes. My family was more you better go to church. Sundays we all have to go to church. It's not oh, I have a headache, or if you actually might even have a headache, it's more well, you're going to church. It was more and us kids, my brothers, my sister, we'd always try to find an excuse not to go. Not that And I guess we didn't like going to church. It was more like, oh, I don't understand this stuff. Because we would go to church, but we knew nothing they were talking about. Like, it would be like older pastors and they would talk in their kind of language, like where my parents would understand, but I wouldn't understand that. Like, they would say those big words that I never even heard of, or I would hear, but I wouldn't even know what they mean. So half the time I would be falling asleep in church. And half the time I would just do something. I'd draw, I would like play with my brothers, whatever. It was not what church is really like for me. That's not saying anything that the church I went to or still the church I go to is bad or anything. So for my, I guess, childhood from 11 to like 14, I guess, I was more like, oh, I hate going to church. It's so boring. I don't understand this. And then I remember when I was 14, I think 2011, started going to this thing called Bible school. It's like a school for teens, and back then they had this like age order, I guess, that you had to be 14 and older to only like go there. And I remember waiting for so long to finally be 14, and I was like, I can finally go to Bible school. Like, they had this big strict thing, like you had to have your name tags, and if you had the name tag, you like, if you don't have your name tag, you better create a new one, like, or bring it in, because you're not supposed to lose your name tag and they're not gonna let you in without your name tag. It was like serious. There would be people by the door, and like they'd be like a year or two older than me, but I was like, whoa, they're so much older and I have to have my name. It was more like serious, but I was so like excited to see, hey, this is more teens, you know. I want to get to know this kind of stuff, like what goes on in the teen church, you know. So I started going to Bible school, and we had cell groups, so it'd be basically like a church service for like an hour, and the second hour, yes, Russian churches have 2 hours of service, just letting you know. I know American churches have 1 hour, but yeah, ours are longer. Maybe that's why I was always falling asleep in church when I was little. Maybe that's why. Anyways, so one church would be like a service, you worship, you preach and stuff, you talk, not talk, you listen to the preacher and pray. And then the other hour would be like you go to a group with the leader, and there's a bunch of people in there, like probably your age, maybe a little bit older. And you guys just talk about stuff, like maybe what the preacher was talking about, or what the topic is of this Thursday. It was every Thursday. It still is every Thursday. So I would always go to that. I really liked that. I like communicating with people, and there was so much people there. And I remember every time it'd be Thursday and we would have these crazy prayers. And like, I would be like, okay, like I wanted a relationship with God. I found out that you can actually have a relationship with God, but I didn't really know much about it. And I remember really wanting that, because I would see people so passionate about it, and people like literally like their eyes would be shining with like, whoa, there is something there, you know. And I really wanted it. And I remember really wanting to dedicate my complete life to him. I remember Thursday would come, the prayers go on, we would pray till like 11. Okay, the service would start at 7, guys. 2 hours for the service, 9, and we start praying till 11. Like, tell me that's not God. Like, telling me that's not God. For who would sit there for 2 extra hours, like just praying? Like why? Like, what's the point of that? To show your friend? Like, people could just go skip church, come back at 11 and be like, oh, we've been praying. No, like, people literally prayed. People wanted to pray. It was like everybody would come on Thursday and just pray till, and everybody would leave like so happy. Like, tell me that's not God. That's God. That is God. I remember like praying and crying because I wanted to know him. Like, I didn't even know him completely, but I knew he was there. But I wanted to know him so bad. And I remember crying, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go, and tomorrow on Friday, I'm going to be a whole different person. Like, my life will be changed. People around me will know I'm different. My God is my God. Everybody will know I love Jesus. Everybody will know that God's my God. Everything, you know? Go to Friday. Friday, I would still be like, got my Bible and like everything, you know? Like, Jesus, you know, my King. And then Saturday would come, I would go to church, the big service. Sunday, I would go to the big service. And then that's when I was like, Then Monday would come, Tuesday, and I was the same exact person I was the other days, like before Thursday would come. And then Thursday would come again and I would be like, yes, again. And I would cry. I remember like there was this little projection table that we would like put lyrics for songs on. And I would sit under that table with my friend and we would cry. And we were like, that's it. Today's the day. Today's the day my life will be changed. And then Friday would come and everything would be the same. And I remember hating it so much because I wanted it and I couldn't change on my own. I couldn't. I wanted to change and I didn't even know God, but I already wanted Him, but I couldn't change on my own. There was this one time where I went to a very, I still to this day don't remember what conference it was. I still don't remember. Like, this was like the hit point of like my relationship with God, like where it all started, but I don't know where it happened. Like, I know like the place and how, and if I go there I'll remember it, but I don't know the church or like what the conference was. So anyways, this one person posted on Facebook, hey, I'm going to this conference, I can pick you up if you guys need a ride, like carpool, I can carpool anyone. And I was like on Facebook and I'm looking through that and I'm like, well, I want to go, that looks really cool, you know, like conference, she's gonna carpool me. I didn't have a car, so I was like, yes, yes, yes. And I texted her and she's like, oh yeah, let's go. So we ended up going to the conference and I remember like that conference being such a changing, revivaling experience in my life. I remember sitting in my chair and just wanting to pray. Like the speaker was still preaching and I already wanted to pray. I was like, God, I know you're here. And I remember like he was like, okay, you guys come up to the front who wants to give their life to God. Like just it was basically like he was praying for us to like realize like God is here and for us to get that like God, you know, God moment. So I remember coming to the front and there was a bunch of people from my church that I knew and I remember praying and like I remember that moment like I knew it was it. No matter how much I tried to change, it wouldn't work. But at that point I knew it was it. Like my eyes, I was bawling, not because of emotions, but I guess you can say that it was emotional because I knew this was it. Like I knew I met the Father. I knew I met God. But that one God that I was always scared my whole life, that I could never talk to, that I was like so distant from, and I realized this was it. I remember crying that night and finally realizing that's my God. Like, God, I can finally be with you. I can finally have a relationship with you. I waited for this for so long and I wanted it. And I remember that being like, I remember getting up from my knees and realizing this just happened. Like, wow. And I remember like meeting up with some friends after that. I didn't know then, but became they have become my very good friends after, but meeting with them after and we had like a talk and I remember sharing my life with them and they would share stuff and it was like, whoa, 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 this is so cool. And then we started to go kind of get closer, like in friends, and we started to have meetings and like groups and Bible studies, and like that helped me grow so much because when you're with people, you see that somebody else has the same passion, that it's not just you and it's not something, you know, you see that other people have that same thing, and it's so good to like unite with your friends and people around you and just worship the Father. We would have such amazing prayers, such amazing like growth in that. We had such good times, like we grew so much in that, and I'm so thankful for people that I had, like very good mentors, spiritual father and mother, someone that you really look up to and that helps you grow a lot. Like they inspire you, encourage you, and it's really good to have someone like that in your life because sometimes you might not hear exactly what God is telling you, might not see it on, and He wants you to have that person that like will show you stuff, that knows more kind of than you, that God has shown them something about it, and you can go and ask to them freely, and it's totally normal. And I had those kind of people that would help me grow so much, and I'm still thankful to them till this day. I still grow because of them. Like I still look up to them. Of course, I have grown so much from then, and my relationship with God is so good right now. I love knowing that He's real. Like it's such an amazing, incredible feeling knowing that I'm not talking to myself, that if I'm going through something really hard, I have hope. Like it's not like oh, I'm gonna go commit suicide. No, because I know that there's something there. There's something here. I have hope. I have faith that this is not gonna be for the rest of my life. I believe that he's doing something. Like, it's so good to know that he's real, because once you know he's real, then you have so much more hope to live for. And once he talks to you, once you keep that relationship, start having that relationship with you, he'll give you promises. He'll give you callings for your life. He'll tell you a promise that is gonna come to your life, and you're gonna live for that promise. You're gonna start living for the promise, for your calling. You will know that it still hasn't come, but you believe that God keeps his promises. Once he does, once one of his promises come to pass, your faith is gonna grow gigantic, just knowing that, whoa, he did promise this, and it did come to pass. It's gonna grow you so much, because you're gonna know, whoa, that God did that. He told me that. Like, at the moment when he tells you that, you might be like discouraged, because you're like, I don't know if he told me that or if I'm thinking that. But once it comes to pass, you're gonna be like, whoa, God literally told me that, and he literally did it in the same way he told me. I'm telling you guys, it's so good to know he's real. It's so amazing to know he's there. So amazing to know that there's someone there that really cares about you. Somebody there that really loves you. You might think, oh, my mom loves me. And I'm pretty sure my mom, like, I know my mom loves me. But man, he loves you. Like, he cares. He's not this angry God that you've always been told, you've seen from other people. He's not an angry God. Sometimes people can carry it out to you and show you that this God, our God, is so angry, so he'll send you to hell, and he just wants you to burn. No, he doesn't. He doesn't want you to burn in hell. God doesn't send you to hell. It's you who does it. You're the one that does the whole thing. Like, he's the one that wants you with him. It's never God. People say, oh, God took my sister away. Well, I guess she's in a happy place. God never took your sister away. He never cared about taking your sister away. Like, if he could have a relationship with her on earth, he would have it. He wants it. God doesn't take lives. He gives lives. The one that takes lives away is the one that lives under us. But we tend to blame God for something he never did, something he never even wants to do. Don't say he took your sister away when it wasn't even him, when he cared about your sister just as much as he cares about you and me. He loves us all the same. He doesn't want to take our lives away. He doesn't ever want to hurt us. It's sometimes we that choose that path. Sometimes we choose the wrong path, and then we blame him for it. Sometimes something goes on, and one person might hurt us, and we blame God for it. When it wasn't even God, it was the person. Something happened with the person. Stop blaming God for things he never did. He's such an amazing God. He never wants anything bad for you. Yeah, he wants you to glorify him, and yeah, he wants you to live here for him, but it's not like he just takes and he's like controls you and you better go this way and you... No, he cares. He loves. Like, he literally loves. He's the definition of love. Everything you've ever heard about love, that's nothing compared to how much he loves you. Like, he loves you so much. And it's not just like, oh, one day I love you and the next day you did something wrong. He's like, oh, I don't think I love her. No. It's like nothing you could do that he will love you less. Nothing. It's like his love is right here. You might like rob a bank. You're right here. He still stays right here. You think that you're right here, but his love is still over here. You might hurt some person like really bad, and then you will think you're somewhere over here, even though his love is still over here. God doesn't change on what you do. He doesn't change. God stays the same. It's us who change. We think we're so smart, and we think, oh, because I did this, God's gonna think, oh no. And we tend to think that all the time, and then we won't talk to him for months because we think, God probably doesn't want to talk to me. Well, do you want to talk to him? Have you tried talking to him? Talk to him. You'll see that it's not his heart. He wants to talk to you. He wants to hear you. So much people think, wait, maybe I should change my life first until I talk to him. Like, why talk? How are you gonna know he's real if he doesn't change anything in your life? It has to start with you coming to him just as you are, broken, hurt, bad, like wrong, in sin, and coming to him and being like, God, I'm so bad. I am so horrible. I am a mess. But I know you will change this mess into perfection. But anyways, this was my little testimony. Of course, there's little in-betweens and how I grew and like and how I learned how to hear him and all that kind of stuff. But that's the broad, kind of like huge way of how I got my relationship with God. But if you guys want to hear more on this, like more detailed and stuff, I would love to throw it in. But for now, I didn't want to bore you guys so much with just a little talk. So with us, this is already a big talk. So anyways, hope you like this. This is truly my story, and I know so many of you might have such amazing big stories. And also, I did a little like natural makeup today, and I did a video, but I'm not sure if I want to post it. So let me know if you want to see how I got this like natural look for today. If you want to see that, comment down below so I'll know that you want to see a little makeup look. I already filmed it and everything, the same exact look. I just not sure if I want to post that, but if you guys want to see it, I shall. Anyways, I hope you like this. Like, share, subscribe, comment, same old, same old. Yeah, I love you guys. I hope this helped you get to know me even more. And hey, share me your stories if you want. Comment down below your stories. If it's super huge, I mean, like, make another video like in response and I'll super watch it. But I would love to hear your story. Seriously, nothing is too small in God's world. So if you have anything, please share with me. And I'm sure you have a big testimony. I would love to hear it.